Understanding Nixon. Let's see how PragerU somehow rationalizes Nixon. 9/11, we must never forget it. I'll never forget, but not in the way that you want me to remember it. Let's understand Nixon.
Name this president. He created the Environmental Protection Agency and put real teeth in the Clean Air Act. Environmentalists called him the most environmentally conscious national figure since Teddy Roosevelt.
Are they gonna praise Nixon for doing statism? Oh man, they're gonna praise Nixon for doing government interventionism.
He was admired, sometimes revered by civil rights leaders including Martin Luther King and Jackie Robinson. He desegregated Southern schools and vigorously enforced civil rights laws, often against his own political interests. His grasp of foreign affairs was acknowledged by both friend and foe to be unmatched.
His grasp of foreign affairs. That is a very nothing statement right there.
He opened U.S. relations with Communist China, signed the first nuclear disarmament agreement in history.
They're saying all of these things that, they disagree with while praising him for them. That's very weird.
And ended the Vietnam War. When the peace accords
ended the Vietnam War. That is an interesting way to put Nixon. There was a lot of time before that where he was definitely not trying to end the Vietnam War.
Were signed, it was clear that America was the victor in the conflict. Did you guess our 30?
What?
When the peace accords were signed, it was clear that America was the victor in the conflict.
The USA was the victor in the Vietnam War.
Did you guess our 37th president, Richard Nixon? If not, don't feel bad. Most people only know one thing about him, that he resigned from office following the Watergate scandal. Looking back, his offense, covering up for overzealous subordinates who were caught trying to steal campaign secrets from the Democrats.
I'm consuming.
Oh, right. So it's not Nixon's fault. He didn't know. He just gave the orders.
Almost seems quaint. But at the time, it roiled the nation.
Roiled? It roiled the nation? Excuse me, who says it roiled the nation? Who uses the word roiled? Is that even a word? Royal. It's rile. Royal makes someone annoyed or irritated. It's US. That's why I've never fucking heard of it in my life.
He accepted responsibility, apologized early on. He apologized.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I sent my goons to steal your campaign secrets. I'm so sorry.
Certainly would have survived. Sadly, he never considered the idea. When he felt cornered...
Wait, he didn't apologize. Okay.
His first reaction was to counterattack, not apologize. Nixon was first and always a fighter.
Because he was a fighter, so it's good that he didn't apologize. He was a fighter. It's okay. He's just a fighter. He fights. It's that simple.
Everything he ever achieved, he had to fight for. He was born on January 9th, 1913.
I don't fucking care when he was born.
In Yorba Linda, California, in a small house his father built from a mail order kit. Yorba Linda is now a bustling suburb of Los Angeles, but then it was basically a lemon grove with a road running through it. He grew up with no advantages. If he wanted to escape, he read. He read a lot. It's part of the Nixon legend that he attended a local college, Whittier. What isn't well known is that he was accepted to Harvard. He didn't attend.
It's so fucking weird that they're trying to frame him as triumphing over adversity. Richard fucking Nixon. The very fact that he went to college shows that he was not triumphing over adversity. His middle name was Milhouse. Cringe. Okay, his family literally owned a lemon ranch, and they're trying to sell us the idea that he triumphed over adversity. Apparently, if you live in an area that isn't dense with population, you triumphed over adversity.
Only because his parents couldn't afford to send him there. After volunteering for service in the Navy in the South Pacific during World War II, he returned.
It doesn't even say that his parents couldn't afford to send him to Harvard here. It says that his parents were sick, so he needed to stay nearby. He remained in his hometown and attended Whittier College with his expenses fully covered by a bequest from his grandfather. So his family literally paid for him to go to college. And you're telling me that this is a guy who triumphed over fucking adversity.
Return home. A small-town law career, not politics, looked to
be... who doesn't have a grandfather just ready and raring to give him a grant to go to college, man? That's normal. Everyone has that.
His future. Then fate took a hand. The local Republican Party was searching for a fresh face to oppose a popular Democrat congressman. Nixon passed the audition. Nobody expected him to win, but nobody expected him to campaign as hard and as effectively as he did. He quickly became a fast-rising political star, achieving national attention when he almost single-handedly exposed a major State Department official, Alger Hiss, as a Soviet spy.
But being a Soviet spy is good, so that's not a good thing.
Hiss was everything Nixon was not: sleek, urbane, Ivy League educated. He was well-known and well-loved among the East Coast intellectual and media elite. No one
Isn't the West Coast the part with the evil elite?
in Hiss's social set believed the charges against him, until Nixon forced them to. The liberal elites never forgave him for that.
The liberal elites loved...
Ivy League
Everyone knows that the liberal elites loved Soviet spies. Was this Alger Hiss guy actually a spy, or was it just like a smear? Let's see. Accused of having spied. No, he was accused in 1948. Was it Nixon? So Nixon was given FBI files courtesy of J. Edgar Hoover, and basically launched his political career by doing McCarthyism, by alleging that this guy was a Soviet spy. Richard Nixon is the one who did all of this or something. But it was some random guy appearing before the House Un-American Activities Committee. I mean, Nixon was apparently the one who brought it to the press to take advantage of it, like who publicized it, and they're trying to make it out like Nixon is the one who accused this guy who was never proven of being a spy of being a spy. He's the one who found all the evidence.
Nixon was not sleek, urbane, Ivy League educated. He was well-known and well-loved among the East Coast intellectual and media elite. No one in Hiss's social set believed the charges against him, until Nixon forced them to. The liberal elites never forgave him for that,
Fucking
or
liberal
for beating
elites,
the
man.
glamorous and very progressive Hollywood actress Helen Gahagan Douglas in the 1950 California Senate race. In 1952, Dwight Eisenhower tapped him to be his running mate. In just 6 years, Nixon rose from a small-town lawyer to Vice President of the United States.
Wow, Vice President of the United States? Wow, that's really a great achievement. If you're like a fucking narcissistic psychopath.
He was only 39.
Great.
Ike sent his vice president on important diplomatic missions all over the globe. It was on these missions that Nixon developed his mastery of international affairs.
I love it when my Master of International Affairs, like you support Master of International Affairs for Americans means really good at supporting a wide variety of different genocides in a wide variety of different places.
After a heartbreaking loss to John F. Kennedy in the presidential election of 1960, one of the closest and most disputed elections of the modern era, Nixon returned to California. There he lost another election, an ill-advised run for governor in 1962. He should have been done as a politician. He wasn't.
Well, he should have been.
In one of the most unlikely comebacks in American political history, Nixon won the Republican nomination for president in 1968 and then defeated incumbent Vice President Hubert Humphrey in the general election. Few presidents have ever walked into a more difficult situation. The country was in turmoil.
Yeah, beating Hubert Humphrey? How could you possibly beat Hubert Humphrey? That's one of the hardest electoral wins of all time. Beating Hubert Humphrey? Wow. It's like beating Pete Buttigieg or fucking, what even is his name? I honestly don't remember. The Beto O'Rourke. Come on, that's like the least impressive electoral victory I could possibly imagine. Hubert
Bobby
Humphrey.
Kennedy and Martin Luther King had both been assassinated within the year, just weeks apart. The Vietnam War was raging. Student unrest was out of control, and the economy was floundering. Nixon expertly navigated the turbulent political waters, steering a central...
I love to expertly navigate the turbulent political waters by sending goons to steal documents from the opposition party and getting caught. That's definitely probably the best way to navigate the turbulent political waters.
course, just what his devoted supporters, the people he called the silent majority, wanted him to do. What he believed
if you say the silent majority, right? People say the silent majority because they know that they don't have a majority and need to invent the idea that they have one.
A sense of duty, common decency, hard work, the inherent greatness of America, they believed in. The press never liked Nixon, but the majority of the American people loved him. He was reelected in 1972 in one of the biggest landslides in American history, winning 49 of the 50 states. He ended the military draft, brought the Vietnam War to a close in early 1973, And later that year, he saved Israel.
Like, they're framing the US losing the Vietnam War as a good thing for the US somehow, just because the person who they're talking about, like, they want to play him up. When obviously, like, if it was a Democrat who had signed that exact same agreement as Nixon did, they would be saying, like, he abandoned our South Vietnamese allies and left them to the savage North Vietnamese. It's fucking hilarious the way this cognitive dissonance works.
By airlifting
Saved
military
Israel.
supplies during
Wow, that's actually terrible. Nixon is even worse now. He saved Israel.
the so-called Yom Kippur War. And then came Watergate. Now you know why Richard Nixon, truly Shakespearean in both his attributes and his flaws,
Truly Shakespearean. Why?
may be America's most misunderstood and underappreciated president. I'm Hugh Hewitt for Prager University.
This shit is like fucking weird, man. The way that Americans are like so obsessed with like ranking presidents and stuff, it's absurd and just foreign to me. Doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know, most Australians couldn't fucking name any prime minister before like the last 30 years. And like Americans are like, we need to rank every single president ever and like know everything about them, every little detail, everything they fucking did. It's so absurd. It's just a part of the fucking US death cult, US exceptionalist death cult.